I'm ready. Hey guys, what's up? So I've got some pretty good news. This past week was essentially the last hard part of BOLC, the last part that really matters for graduation. So it's pretty much official that I'm gonna graduate. So this past week was really busy and pretty tough. Probably one of the busiest weeks here at BOLC, I'd say. And it started with our last FDC sim on Monday, which I was actually in FD04, so I was getting graded. And I know last video I said that I thought it'd be harder, like the hardest one, but that ended up not being the case at all. It was probably the easiest one, so I kind of lucked out there. Did well on everything. Just one thing for that: make sure if you're going that you go over calibrated muzzle velocities the night before or whatever, because I made a dumb mistake and lost a bunch of points on that, but oh well. The next day we had our offensive briefs, so you got to turn in, you know, all your fire support brief material and stuff, and then if you didn't do the defensive one, then you had to brief the offensive one, or if you failed the defensive one, you had to brief the offensive one. I did the defensive one already and didn't fail, so I didn't have to do it, so I just turned my stuff in and basically left. So that was pretty nice, but for people who had to do that, that was a pretty big thing. Also that day we had our last JFO sim, so completely done with those. I did well on it. I did well on all the JFO sims, and so I'm pretty sure I have all my J medals, so you know, I should be able to just go to my unit and basically take a test and be a JFL. The next day we had our Mod 4 Gunnery PE, practical exercise. I actually got sick. I got a stomach bug. Pretty sure it's food poisoning from eating here in Lawton, so be careful. You know, 95% of dinners and stuff I cook here for myself, and decided not to and got sick. So you're not gonna get sick from always eating in Lawton or whatever, but just be careful. Anyway, so I didn't actually go to class that day because I was on quarters, but I did do the PE by myself at home, and I actually did not find it very helpful. Probably the least helpful of all the PEs here, but I'll talk about that more in a sec. The next day was the actual Mod 4 Gunnery test, which was very different than the other ones. It was all multiple choice and short answer, like fill in, and it was very conceptual. A lot of the other ones are very technical, but this one was way more conceptual. It was a cumulative test, and about half of it was for mods 1 through 3, and half of it was on mod 4 itself. So it was very different, but I actually liked it because basically it was testing if you understood why things happened in a certain way or in a certain order, then you do well. So it played to my strengths pretty well, I think, and I did really well, so I'll definitely make another video for that. And lastly, but not least, was the JFO test, which ended up being a lot harder than people thought it would be. The instructors actually really played it down, like, oh, it's not that bad, you know, nobody really fails or anything. And then a bunch of people failed. I've heard a rumor that 14 people from my class failed the test and the retake, which means they have to recycle the JFO part of BOLC, which is, I'm not sure how that's gonna work because the class behind us is like really far behind us. I think they're in mod 2. So they'd be snowbirding for a couple months, and I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work. But I'll find out if that rumor is even true tomorrow. The JFO test is obviously on JFO, but what makes it unique is that there's no notes allowed, nothing, no help, and you have to get an 80 or higher to pass. I actually studied a decent amount for it and I did well on it, so I'll make a video for that as well. But yeah, that was kind of eye-opening. Like, a lot of people were like, oh crap. But yeah, that's it. That was this past week. That was basically, in essence, kind of like the last week of BOLC. We still have another week of classes left and Red Leg War, but you can't fail out of BOLC anymore. You passed all this stuff. You just have to, you know, not do something really stupid, and you should graduate. So yeah, feels good. Had our first weekend where I had no homework to do in months, and yeah, it just feels really nice to be, you know, so close to the finish line. But yeah, anyways, that's all I've got for this week, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. You know, leave thumbs up or down or whatever. Leave some comments, and yeah. So till next time, keep killing it.